Good morning, Suraj Singh. Talk on safety for all, safety for everyone. Very important HSE, health, safety, and environment. Very significant, important, and required topic, subject, required everywhere, every time, all time, for everyone. On road, in home, in air, wherever you are, SHE is a must. If you want you safe, if you want your people safe, world safe, others safe, must comply with safety, or else at very small cost you lose your life or you lose your body parts. It is not that importantly concerned, but it is very significantly required because people are not keen for safety seriously. Overconfidence results in wastage of time, wastage of money, wastage of resources, and small degree of attention, small application of resources and use would grant everyone safe time and safe activity and safe work, which we must understand as professionals, as human beings, as public, and as normal citizen of every country. Safety is not taken very seriously, but should be taken very seriously even if you are walking, you are sitting, you are driving, you are working wherever in office or outside, everywhere some point of safety is important. Safety is important because you are spending energy, everybody spends energy. That energy must be used properly so that this is used like money, as you don't spend your money for items which you don't need. Similarly, you should not waste your energy wherever it's not required. But we are not taking it that seriously because we are not paid for this. That is very serious issue, safety, and it relates to health, and that further relates to environment, and all this relates to ergonomics. Ergonomics means an individual uses energy which means erg, and that erg unit must be used properly. Everybody has energy, and that should be used according to requirement, and safety is related to that. If I am sitting in chair, I am not taking safety measures. Maybe I take a position where I collapse backside or sideways. When I am walking, I don't care on footpath even. I hit someone else. I don't even care for a pit in road or for a protrusion on safe footpath or road, and my toes hit that and I stumble. And various other points. I'm just walking on road without thinking any traffic or car is coming. I'm just crossing, or carman is not even watching this pedestals. Some pedestrian is crossing and he just drives car continuously and results in collision. So it's not simply safety at work, it's safety everywhere. Safe body, safe mind, safe activity, safe environment, safe health. Everything should be safe, means everyone should be active all time. You should not be sleeping or passive to understand safety. Safety, which is which was from beginning a requirement and people thought of that, but now it has come to some formal type of subjects, formal type of management, where it's required everywhere, and particularly in those areas which are very risky areas, for example, construction or development work, where many people work together. Hundreds and hundreds of people work at one place, at ground level, at higher levels, and higher levels. And there is always risk to safety. There's always risk somebody may collapse, somebody may be injured, sunstroke may hamper some minds, sunstroke may, you can say, damage some body. This is very common. Safety is not a joke, it's a very serious issue if we consider it. If you don't consider, it has got no meaning at all. Safety should be considered a serious issue because we say that safety first is a must. That is simply saying construction projects have been required since times immemorial. More than 50% budget is covered on development works, which involves construction projects pertinent all types. Engineers from all disciplines work on such projects. Millions of workers contribute to such development around globe. Engineering has been very significant world to successfully deliver all such projects. In fact, generally not very literate workers are involved in this world of construction. Many accidents have been experienced on such projects due to reasons of carelessness or neglect of work handling and supervision. Everyone is interested to do a fast delivery of proposed product at risk of personal attention and not caring, not caring for life value created anxiety implicates a feeling to make delivery of appointed date, even not even not availing ample rest and sleep properly. Personally observed that works are not given adequate attention from safety viewpoint, though safety is too significant on such works, but is not given value to be strictly complied with. Many incidents have been reported regarding collapse of crane booms, scaffolding and buildings slabs during ongoing construction around world. Scaffolding was a failure even on certain international airport during construction. For some transport system, failures on supporting works have been reported. Indeed, on plant facilities, safety care is intensively required and ensured. Even after so high level of safety care provisions, bad incidents have been reported with. I understand my duty to share my experience about safety requirements with fellow professionals and others in engineering construction is fair so that experience determines dissemination be affected. Included with this publication are many topics about project construction safety, respecting practical aspects on activities conducted. Only few statements have been included that may cover a large scope of common construction faced by common engineers and particularly to help support problems solutions that are faced by budding engineers and others. Many safety management statements have been included from policy making in to making tools handling and then taking off to actual works on site. All activities could not be covered yet. An idea has been conveyed about questions in many mind. More statements and methods about how to handle safety issues can be developed. But 35 chapters involved with methods, line management, site middle, and executive management. Certain sketches have been composed for information purpose to apprise about requirements. Chapters have been based on actual works affected in field as a part of office engineering field arrange engineering management without including imaginations. Many years of information have been used to produce this work. A model organization chart or integrated management has also been included, just for reference only. Certain activities have been also been mentioned that requires check on site. Hope These readers shall find this small presentation interesting and useful. My interest to request various institutions to make provisions for certain publications related to such subjects and topics. Purpose of this work is to assist those aspiring professional engineers or others who are unable currently to refer to certain practical books. It's my it's my spiritual interest to produce certain works that may help engineers for CPD, continued professional development support. I have stock of other works respecting construction method statements, plans, facilities, procedures, and many site-based management of documents under working publication of which shall depend upon response received. Particularly, construction method statements should assist actual work prosecution on site and cannot be extracted from available books on Globe. Similarly, no texts are available that provides comprehensive inter, information about projects, prosecutions, strategies, and it's always problematic for, for, for engineers to refer all such documents. Results of that lack of information leads to drop from from management level. When some issues chapters include subtitles safety policy, the management system, site security, hand tools, first aid regulations, permit to work, housekeeping, safety training, emergency and evacuation plan, fire protection, personal protective equipment PPE, excavation safety, control storage and use of hazardous materials, incident reporting, lifting, rigging and hoisting, radiography operations, night working, scaffolds and ladders, temporary electrical supply, welding and culture, working at height and fall prevention, abrasive wheels, construction environment, hazards control, confined space entry, confined space entry, road safety and vehicle operation, reward system, compressed gas cylinder, heat stress, safe practices, disciplinary enforcement, safety of safe work, inspection and audits, plants, facility projects, construction safety relevant sketches, safety related sketches, organization chart. This is certain contents that I shall like to share with you. Out of these many already I have shared, and I'll say now about this issue of fire protection. Fire protection. Fire is everywhere, we know. Let's say what this statement may contain. It may contain scope, purpose, definitions, responsibilities, instructions, references, attachments. I'll just repeat that because I already told this, but it's long back. Maybe you're not in contact with that, so it's just a refresher statement. For example, in this case of fire protection, is chapter 10. It's fire protection applied to all facilities, including workshops, offices, temporary accommodation, and construction areas on projects. Also applies to all areas in life camps. Requirements should be considered mandatory. Purpose is to highlight possible fire hazards, define precautions and procedures for suppression such fires so that facilities are protected. It's suggested that uh, loss prevention prevention approach should be adopted rather than firefighting approach. Certain definitions are there which I already explained, but yet for refresher I'll give again so that those who have come namely should be apprised with. Let's say on behalf of, let's say, definitions, for example, engineer means a project engineer, employer, owner, whatever we can say, employer, owner. Definitions regarding certain terms. Safety means safety, health, and environment of environment disciplines to support the project activities. Company means an organization carrying out or prosecuting project. Contractor means organization that won project from client. Subcontractor means an organization that has won part of a project work from contractor project to organization of contractor. And personnel means all personnel involved on project site activities. Responsibility means job and contract responsibilities. Turning, Training means training imparted for specific safety topic on job on project site. Management means Management means organization top, middle, and lower management. Safety means organization top, middle, and lower management. Safety manager means a person with job title safety manager deployed by certain organization. And project manager means a person as such with PM title deployed by contractor. And engineer means and project manager means a person as such with PM title deployed by contractor. Then last and as such, no, no means a person appointed by client or client economically for an overall project responsibility. Responsibilities in general respecting certain contract positions. Project manager responsible for overall obligations to provide schedule, all resources, direction, engineering resolutions. Site manager responsible for overall site prosecution, management, overworks, and subcontractors. Site safety officer responsible for overall safety management on site and reports to project manager or site manager, corporate safety manager. Construction manager responsible to arrange all safety related resources and provide site team all requirements. Then first site engineer responsible to carry out safety issue within section. Site safety inspector engineer responsible to supervise safety measures on site and control safety issues should bring to site line management. Bring to site line management to adopt correct measures. Site foreman responsible for complete compliance of safety measurement. Site foreman responsible for compliance of safety measurement as standard or as direct. Okay. Site foreman responsible for compliance of safety measures as standards or as directed. An individual working on site responsible to maintain safety measures in case missing should bring to site team attention. Responsibilities. EPC contractor, site managers. Ensure that procedure is understood by all concerned and applied accordingly. Ensures that safety remains intact on all operations. Site Health, Safety and Environment Manager, responsible for development, implementation of this procedure and monitoring compliance, review impacts and incorporate any requirements to assist starting out development of written emergency plans, to assist in providing whatever training is required for fire teams, fire wardens and project personnel, ensuring that fire detection system provided provided adequately provided adequately and both properly examined and sacrificed public examined and serviced in line to approved schedule of maintenance. EPC contractor, site safety engineer, site engineer ensure that significant resources are available provided to implement this procedure and and procedure is being applied currently. Okay, for contractor, site engineer shall ensure that sufficient resources are available provided to well EPC contractors, site engineers shall ensure that sufficient required resources are available provided to provided to implement this procedure and procedure is being applied correctly. Hmm. EPC contractor safety supervision, safety supervision, including discipline supervisors and engineers, they are required. Ensure that working of site of this procedure are understood and followed by all personnel on project. Provides necessary training in routine to all concerned personnel. Carries out regular audits of fire arrangement in place, including conducting of all fire drills. Ensures that fire extinguishers and certain other protection systems are subject to regular maintenance, regular monthly inspection or examination. ABC contractor and subcontractors safety supervision shall shall entire ensure following office and camp fire action notices are posted at strategic locations. Sufficient emergency assembly points are set up uniformly, uninformed, uninformed rectangular practice. Even the results are preferred. Hmm. EPC contractor and subcontractor safety supervisors shall ensure following. Office and campfire action notices are posted at strategic locations. Sufficient emergency assembly points are set up. Uninformed regular practices, execution, evacuation drills are performed regularly. Sufficient number of offices and camp staff shall be provided, shall be assigned with it, responsible to act as fire material. Fire warden. Responsible to act as fire warden. Office and camp staff In particular, new personnel are briefed and kept updated on fire and emergency response procedures. Control of flammable materials used on premises, photocopier fluids, miscellaneous low-profile chemicals, and built. Yes. Mm. Let's say, uh, once again, I say it's the important one. Offices and campfire action notices are posted at strategic locations. Sufficient emergency assembly points are set up. Uninformed regular practice evacuation drills are performed regularly. Sufficient number of office and camp staff have been assigned with responsibility to act as fire wardens. Office and camp staff, its particular new personnel, are briefed and kept. uh, Control of flammable materials used on premises and photocopier fluids, miscellaneous low-profile chemicals and oils, etc., works well in line to defined procedures. Provisions of lid refuse containers for safe disposal of aerosols which have contained flammable materials. Ensuring that a clean desk policy being allowed on site, being adhered to, that materials are not allowed to, that materials are not allowed to accumulate at one location by regular housekeeping, maintenance, and inspection of offices at close of business or some other suitable time. Daily inspection of offices to ensure that walkways are not obstructed, carpet and other fittings are secured, fire door kept closed, that all items, all means of escape are being well maintained to be used. There is instructions over then provision of metal filing cabinets for storing documents, stationery, and other potentially flammable documents. Then you can say provision of metal filing element cabinets for storing documents, stationery, and other potentially flammable items. Then lies with electrical instrumentation department for inspection, testing and servicing of fire alarms, smoke detector units, etc. Mm. Clean kitchen areas shall be monitored to ensure that electrical fittings are being turned off after use and do not present any fire hazard. And lies with electrical instrumentation department for inspection, testing, and servicing area. Then clean glass doors shall have directions of opening, namely push, till, and unwanted to be adjacent. Training to use fire personnel running out. Mm. Training to use fire extinguishers shall be given and directions, signs displayed highlighting emergency procedure. No smoking policy, no smoking policy, rules, meetings, and video conference room. Common social areas, mess halls, and toilets within camps are inspected before closure for deactivating post possible initial sources following each metal shift and at end of evening or last shift. Relation with EPC electives. Relation with EPC contractors, HSE department for regular audits, inspections of SRAM camp inside office. Okay, so let's go further. Relation with EPC contractor department for regular audit inspection of camp main site office, surrounding areas and all other temporary facilities. Job based. Camp boss can shall comply with requirements. Camp boss means a caretaker of camp shall comply with requirements outlined in foregoing. Also shall check, accommodate, Africa, countries. So I should say again, camp boss shall comply with requirements outlined in foregoing. Also shall check accommodation areas to ensure that residents are complying with requirements for fire protection procedures. Specifically, ensure that personnel are informed not to interfere with detection devices or systems. No smoking policy applies in bedrooms, areas, common areas, toilet areas, and all other such designated areas. Ensure that night security guards regularly patrol pumps, camps, patrol, patrol areas, and ensure that fire has not broken out, that security lights are operable, working, or, or as well as identify all other potentials, potential areas prone to possible risks. Right. Ensure that cooking is not undertaken in habitable rooms. Ensure a strict design is functional regarding waste removal, especially combustible items, on a daily basis or more frequently as okay. Ensure that cooking is not undertaken in habitable rooms. Rooms are serviced clean, waste and trash removed on a daily basis. Rooms are serviced clean, waste and trash. Uh, Hallways, entrances, and fire escapes are kept free of obstruction as well as cleaned and reverse rash removal of devices. Trash collected from individual rooms must not be left lying on our face. Now, EPC contractor maintenance manager shall ensure following control measures. Okay, पता नहीं, I feel like this, I don't know. All right, go for that. Yeah. The EPC contractor maintenance manager shall ensure the following control measures are functional. Workshops are maintained in a neat and tidy manner. That oil, waste oil, rags, and other flammable materials are removed at end of each shift. Or as necessary, maintenance personnel are instructed to use fire extinguishers, raising alarms, and fire hazards at workplace. Battery recharging shall be conducted in well-ventilated area with no smoking signs depicted and no fire extinguishers fixed. Areas around grinders, pedestal grinders, and other hot work type activities are kept free of combustible materials. Well, areas around pedestal grinders and other hot work type activities are kept free of combustibles. Welding and burning shall be screened and controlled to prevent fire risks and exposure to personnel. Flammable liquids such as gasoline, diesel, etc. are not used for cleaning purposes. Provision of adequate storage areas located in places where, alright, flammable liquids such as gasoline, diesel are not used for cleaning purposes. Provisions of adequate storage areas located in places where exit passengers and state ways are not adequately obtained or consumed. Mm. Flammable liquids are stored safely. Provisions of adequate storage areas located in places where exits, passageways, and stairways are not adversely affected, obstructed. Flammable liquids are and stored safely in a neat and tidy manner with adequate safety signs provided. Instructions. Following instructions outline some principal precautions and necessary arrangements. I'm sorry. Okay. Let's go forward because it's very serious subject. It's that It's very light, cannot say. Following instructions, not saying. Materials and equipment shall be maintained in an orderly manner so as to reduce or prevent possibility of fire spread. Materials shall not be stored in a manner that obstructs fire points. Let's say materials and equipment shall not be maintained in an orderly manner, shall be maintained in an orderly manner so as to reduce or prevent possibility of fire spread. Materials shall not be stored in a manner that obstructs fire points, sprinkler heads, alarms, emergency exits, electrical panels, and wire way. Okay, okay. Hmm. Materials shall not be stored close to openings so as to avoid concealing both floor openings and hoistway. Materials shall not be stored close to openings so as to avoid concealing both floor openings and hoistways. Consideration shall be given to fire loading. Yes. uh, Yeah. Where shall be stored in a manner that obstructs fire points, sprinkler heads, at alarms, emergency exits, electrical panels, and uh, then materials shall not be stored close to openings so as to avoid concealing both floor openings and hoistways. Consideration shall be given to fire loading imposed on an area by placement of materials. Doors provided for emergency escape shall open outwards in direction of walking. Right. Okay. No problem. Hearing, yes. Mm. Equipment shall not be fueled when engine is running. Smoking is prohibited whilst refueling activities are ongoing. Incompatible materials shall not be stored in proximity to each other. Scaffold boards shall be swept and kept free of flammable materials. Cutting and welding. Cutting and welding shall be controlled by permits. That is called PTW, permit to work, as necessary. During commissioning and startup as well, tie-ins to existing facilities. Tie-ins to existing facilities or whether okay. Once again, let's say cutting and welding shall be controlled by permits as necessary. Mhm. During commissioning and startup as well, tie-ins to existing facilities or where required. Particular care shall be taken when carrying out hot work operations in locations where combustible materials may not be present or may be present. Let us see, says it should not may be present, may not be present. Let us see the happiness of this Nobel Prize for you. Right. It's it's like very very. Understanding style and go care shall be taken when carrying out hard work operations in locations where combustible materials may be present. Shall include precautions such as inspection of surrounding areas, removal of whatever convenient combustible materials, production, also uh, precautions shall be taken when carrying out hard work operations in locations where combustible materials may be present. Shall include precautions such as inspection of surrounding areas, removal of whatever conventional materials, production by providing blankets and provision of fire extinguishers. Particular care should be taken when carrying out hard work and exercise before several combustible metals were present. This shall include precautions such as inspection of surrounding areas, removal of whatever combustible materials, protections by providing fire blankets and provisions of extinguishers. Mm. Compressed gas cylinders shall be closed when hot, when not in use, and well stored, properly secured, and kept in an upright position all times. Protective and caps shall be Protective and caps shall be fitted when being moved or transported unless by cylinder trolleys. Compressed gas cylinders shall be kept clear of electrical equipment and cabling. Oxygen cylinders shall be kept free of oil and grease. Gas cylinders shall not be taken into confined spaces. Feed hose, feed hoses and nozzles when cylinder is used in confined spaces shall be removed when not in use. Oxygen cylinders be kept free of oil and grease. Valve wrenches shall be left in position on valve system, well them all times. Mm. Valve wrenches shall be left in position on valve stem all times when cylinder is in use. Fuel gas and oxygen hoses shall be clearly distinguishable, kept in good condition, and secured properly. Wire is not permanent. Flashback arresters must be fitted to both oxygen and oxygen. Important thing. That's it. You know? Mm. Fuel gas and oxygen hoses shall be clearly distinguishable, kept in good condition, and secured properly. Right? Wire is not polluted. Flashback arresters must be fitted to both oxygen and fuel gas regulators and manifolds. Fire extinguishers shall be available before hot work commences and persons trained in their proper use. Hmm. Oxygen fuel gas cylinders shall be stored at least 6 meters apart. Oxygen and fuel gas cylinders shall be stored at least 6 meters apart or separated by a fire resistant wall or 2 centimeter thick steel plate. Wood cutting offcuts sawdust. Carpentry shops shall be swept clean daily or more frequently subject to workload. Cuttings, offcuts, etc. shall be placed immediately in internal bins adjacent to band saws, planing machines, etc. prior to being removed to external connectors. Wood shapes shall be nearly built, stored external to shop by size in racks or similar, and raised from grade. Materials kept within shop shall also be stored in racks or feeder tables and must not be allowed to cluster floor space adjacent to shop equipment. Safe ingress and egress to and from machines locations must be must be functional, operational all times. Mm. Plywood and steel steel structures shall be neatly stacked and raised. Then plywood and steel shutters shall be nearly stacked and raised along grade. Alright. Prime consideration shall be given to maintaining access ways for fire vehicular equipment, garage fuel storage, tube oil changes. Tools shall be uplifted. Tools shall be uplifted, areas swept and oil impregnated waste racks disposed of daily. Tools shall be uplifted. Areas swept and oil impregnated waste racks disposed of daily. Maintenance areas where Maintenance areas where lube oil changes etc. are performed shall be in paved, which is in lean concrete areas suitable of being hosed down and collected from its hard surface. Project vehicles, including engineer underside, shall be washed down in paved areas only to avoid disposal of hydrocarbons and subsurface fire risks. Storage of fine fuels and lubricants. Storage of fuels and lubricants containment requirements shall be agreed with engineer beforehand. Location of maintenance shop shall be selected considering fuel storage. Yeah. So Storage of fuels and lubricants containment requirements shall be agreed with the engineer beforehand. Location of maintenance shop shall be selected considering fuel storage. Safety signs shall be posted in three languages, that is English, Hindi, Sanskrit. Yeah. Also, and say fire extinguishers shall be posted in prominent protected places. Any fire extinguishers shall also be posted in uh, prominent okay. No further painting activities. Uh, I'm listening to them. The storage of paint and more specifically thinners or solvents shall be strictly controlled. Accumulation of waste rags for cleansing or use with solvents shall be prohibited. They shall be collected in fit for purpose containers and thereafter soaked with prior to dispersal. Soaked with water prior to dispersal. Mm. I was saying painting activity, storage of paint and more specifically thinners or solvents shall be strictly controlled. Accumulation of wastewater, waste rags for cleansing or use with solvent shall be prohibited, shall be collected in fit for purpose containers and thereafter soaked with water prior to dispersal. Accumulation of empty containers, accumulation of empty containers shall be prohibited should any attempt to use them for fabrication or other purposes shall not be permitted. And GRP pipes, butt wrappings materials. Storage of jointing materials shall be strictly controlled. Particular care and attention shall be observed during cutting and fabrication activities to reduce risk of explosion and resultant fires. Particular care and attention shall also be observed with regard to internal butt wrapping or joints to, to ensure that the atmosphere would not augment possibility of commotion. Reference and activities. And so let's go to the next one, which is PPE. Uh, Let me pull it up. Hmm. PPE, personal protective equipment, chapter 11, scope is same. Scope, purpose, definitions, responsibilities, instructions, reference, teachings. So I will just speak about the scope and purpose and then come forward as we do before. The responsibilities are same. Scope, procedures applies to all personnel to employed on EPC contract. construction projects, including subcontractors and all visitors to project sites. No one is exempted, no one is exempted, and no one is. I mean, pro- procedure applies to all personnel to be employed on EPC contract construction projects, including subcontractors and all visitors to project sites. No one is exempted from, mm, including subcontractors and all visitors to project site. No one is exempted from mandatory use of PPP. Mm, 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 okay. Outside purpose is over. In hierarchy of risk control, personal protective and respiratory protective equipment PPE and RPE are accepted with recognitions as preventive defense support and support from risk exposure, which should not be considered as a substitute for eliminating or eliminating and, uh, all right. Again, I read hierarchy of risk control. Personal protective and respiratory protective equipment (RPP and RPE) are accepted with recognitions as preventive defense support from risk exposure, which should not be cumulative bias. Cumulative bias. PPE are not used subject to personal pressure, but shall be made mandatory in action or practice. Budget these definitions I'm leaving. Then let's say general requirements. General requirements says not very. mm, This is general requirements. I'll go through this in the top of water. Yes, I will. Risks posed in some particular work activity shall be assessed and adequate PPE selected in accordance with following considerations. Gives protection against risks without in itself leading to any increased risk. Suitability for user personal. Compatibility for work activity. Gives protection against risks without in itself leading to any increased risk. Suitability for user personal, compatibility for work activity, complies with the recognized national or international standard of design or construction, that is BS, this standard, EN and ANSI, DIN, ISO, and those Okay. All employees shall be provided with necessary PPE as defined for their particular work activity. PPE and necessary training courses shall be provided. uh, with- Right. Once again, all employees shall be provided with necessary PPE and protective, personal protective as defined for their particular work activity. PPE and necessary training courses shall be provided allowed to employee free of cost. All employees shall be held responsible for proper care and use of whatever personal protective equipment supplied to them. PPE shall be replaced free of charge to employee, which becomes deficient and effective to normal works. Users are in very, very, you know, okay. So we go more this selection. All employees shall be responsible, held responsible for proper care and use of whatever PPE supplied to them. PPE shall be replaced free of charge of cost to employee, which becomes deficient and defective through normal work uses of wear and tear. So that at all times worker is adequately protected. Normal wear and tear shall include period of effective use specified by normal wear and tear shall include period of effective use specified by manufacturer and meet requirements of basic hygiene. Again, I read there is some confusion. Let me repeat for clarification. Maybe I speak sometimes wrong. I overlook sentences due to some drowsiness. All employees shall be held responsible for proper care and use of whatever PPE supplied to them. PPE shall be replaced free of charge to employee, which becomes deficient, and effective through normal work uses of wear and tear. Uh, let's go to the next one. That is it's about supervisors shall be responsible for ensuring that all personnel on project are trained in use of PPEs provided with wearing all PPE required for activity and environment of work. Personnel not properly equipped for whatever reason shall not attend start or outcome trainings. No, all employees shall wear appropriate PPE is applied to them at all times while working at site. Supervisors shall supervisors shall apply disciplinary actions shall be, in accordance with project procedures. All who fail to comply with PPEs. Again, all employees shall wear appropriate PPE supplied to them at all times while working at site. Supervisors shall apply disciplinary actions in accordance with project legislation, not regulations. Nobody else is. Yes. PPE selection. PPE selection. PPE shall be selected and used to provide protection for all personnel and visitors on project against inhalation and respiratory tract hazards. Is very important. Inhalation and respiratory tract hazards, skin contact hazards, mechanical injury hazard, construction safety hazards, physical agent hazards, environmental hazards, radiological hazards. Hmm. Again, again, PP shall be selected and used to provide protection for all personnel and visitors on project against various hazards. Inhalation, inhalation and respiratory tract hazards means problem here in respiration route. Skin contact hazards, mechanical injury and hazards, construction safety hazards, physical agent hazards, environmental hazards, radiology, religion hazards, and consideration of hazards, impacts of hazards, degree of risks by hazards to personal and equivalent protection requirements, positive effects, consequences by user, etc. All all factors shall be included in determining regarding selection respecting PV is or services. Okay. Once again, consideration of hazards, impacts of hazards, degree of risk by hazards to personal and equipment, equivalent protection requirements, positive effects, the consequences by use, etc. All factors shall be included in determining examination selection. All right. Consideration of hazards, impacts of hazard, degree of risk by hazards to personal and equivalent production requirements, positive effects, consequences by user. All factors shall be included in the determination of selection, respective PBs for each work events, personal product equipment policy. Policy. I'm going to it slow so that you get something out of it, not going fast. Because it's a technical issue, it's an engineering issue. You should get something, remember something. just not rush on, no need of rushing. So you have to understand and write your method statements for your work. If you get every knowledge slow or fast. Because we are beginning, we are you know, beginning not in that way, that way. So that's all right. Come on, policy, PP policy. Basic requirement of PP on a construction operation project are as follows. Safety helmet of plastic construction. Safety helmet of plastic construction manufactured in accordance with ISO 3873. All right, right. So, safety helmet of plastic construction manufactured in accordance with ISO 3873 BS5240 or equivalent. This BS5240 is 4, but again, because he is coming out of EU, so it may be applicable. Safety footwear with steel toe. Safety footwear with steel toe protection manufactured in accordance with VS. Right. Safety footwear, which I just told you, safety footwear with steel toe protection manufactured in accordance with BS 953 or DIN 4843 or equivalent. Construction and sole materials shall be chosen in accordance with activity and efficacy of private. All right. So further, that is, in addition to these shoes and helmets, in addition to that, what do you say? Safety helmet, right? That means a safety helmet, and that is also safety footwear. In addition to above, coveralls shall be supplied to employees who are working in areas of exposure where normal clothing is considered insufficient. Of the, uh, uh, So let's say in addition to above, coveralls shall be supplied to employees who are working in areas of exposure where normal clothing is considered insufficient. That is live plant areas, live means where processing is going on, workshops, painting, shot blasting, etc. Or can say in industry and oil sector projects, no personnel can enter without wearing such clothing. Again, In addition, foregoing helmet and shoe coveralls shall be supplied to employees who are working in areas of exposure where normal clothing is considered insufficient, namely live plant areas, workshops, painting, blasting, etc. Basic PP shall be worn Basic PP shall be worn on project all times in construction areas or locations. Locations include but are not limited to whenever notices are displayed stating that such PP has to be brought line is like okay. PP shall be worn on all projects at all times in construction areas of all locations. These locations include not limited to whenever notices are displayed stating that such PP shall be worn. Such notices shall be in English, in Urdu, Arabic, or some other language which is known to workers. And uh, so, so, so 10th class or 11th class, let's say, some person from very beginning, starting, let's say here, there, so that they, okay, whatever production and or construction area of project, well, all well locations, so inclusive of locations in preparation, drilling, production, and workplace visits. All construction sites inclusive of construction repairs to existing buildings, abrasive blasting operations during all excavation work, inclusive of digging, trenching, when working near excavation equipment or work, where depth of excavation is such that material could fall into excavation. During pipeline operations, working with machinery or equipment where a significant hazard of projection or there is mm, working with machinery or equipment where a significant hazard of projection of debris exists or only using portable powered saw and heavy cutting machinery, etc. All structural works areas at all levels, all finishing activities areas, these are given, but everywhere it should be. Following exceptions to above are considered accepted. Welders, when actually were welding and cutting where necessary, ice shield or heat protective cap prevents its use, are not required to wear a hard hat. Eyes and face protection. So far we discussed this was regarding what? This was regarding basic PPEs for personal basic equipment for that's now eyes and face protection. Eyes and face protection. Suitable protective glasses, goggles, suitable protective goggles, face shield or screens shall be worn by personnel involved in assisting with or adjacent to certain activity where exists danger of projected debris, dust, sparks or other particles, corrosive fluids or mist, excessive heat, light or other harmful radiation. Such work situations include but are not limited to. Once again, I read this. This is regarding eye and face protection, and it says that suitable protective goggles, face shield, or screens shall be worn by personnel involved in assisting with or adjacent to certain activity where exists danger of projected debris, dust, sparks, or other particles, corrosive fluids, or mist, excess use, light, or other harmful radiations. Such, such, can say, work situations include but are not limited to working with rotating equipment such as grinders, drills, lathes, cutting and welding, chipping, chiseling, or caulking, using powder, bolt driving tools, spraying of abrasives, working with chemicals, working with paint, disinfection, and working with paints, disinfectants, pesticides, or other toxic or hazardous fluids. Working with strong sources of electromagnetic and working with strong sources of electromagnetic radiation, radiation are yes, okay. Working with paints, okay, there are disinfectants, pesticides, or other toxic or hazardous fluids. Working with strong sources of electromagnetic radiation. Working with strong sources of electromagnetic radiation, arc and gas welding, working in open with winds blowing sand, working with high pressure water jetting equipment and steam cleaning equipment. Eye and face protection shall be manufactured in accordance with established national or international rulings. Eyes and face protection shall be manufactured in accordance. uh, Uh, Working in open with winds blowing sand, working with high pressure water jetting equipment and steam cleaning equipment, ice and face production shall be manufactured in accordance with established national or international standards such as ISO 4894, BS2092 personal eye protection and BS274 sun glare eye protection and ISO 4850 679 personal eye protectors, eye protectors for welding filters. Personal eye protection, yes, ISO 4849, that's 274 is glare eye protection. The ISO 4850 is personal eye protections for welding. Plus, Not necessary, इसके say necessity for wearing eye protection for work activity shall be indicated at work site by prominent sign in English, Arabic, and Urdu, where necessity for wearing eye protection for work activity shall be indicated at work site by prominent sign in English, Arabic, and Urdu. Visual representatives of types of protection required shall also be displayed, and dyeing of goggles or face masks. And in general, eye and face protection that is worn frequently shall be chewed on a personal basis. Very personal. Yeah. Sorry. Mm, sorry. Now, necessity for wearing eye protection for work activity shall be indicated at worksite by prominent signs in English, Arabic, or whatever else language is used. Visual representative types of, visual representative of types of name, uh, in general, eye and face protection that is worn frequently shall be issued on a personal basis. Multiple users in another company. Yes. Okay. In general, eyes and face protection that is one frequently shall be issued on a personal basis. Multiple users in a workshop would, in case of fixed grinding, drilling, or other rotating machines, may use grinding, drilling, or other rotating machines use may be exceptions to this. In cases, in such cases, it is recommended to leave suitable eyes protection adjacent to machine with a warning sign displayed advice of need for eye protection. In such cases, it is recommended to leave suitable eye protection adjacent to machine with a warning sign displayed advising need for eye protection. Practice of wearing tinted safety glasses to decrease eye strain and fatigue from gum, strong some glare. Practice of wearing tinted safety glasses to decrease eye strain and fatigue from strong sun glare should be encouraged. Practice of wearing tinted safety glasses to decrease eye strain and fatigue from strong sun glare should be encouraged. Wrap around eyes protection, if available, shall be worn by employees following medical approval assessment when employee wears spectacles for normal working activities. Use of contact lens is ill-advised and discouraged in case of sandy or dusty climate. Respiratory protection. Respiratory protection can say respiratory protective equipment shall be available to all persons who are exposed to situation where atmosphere can be susceptible to be either deficient in oxygen or containing some harmful substance. Yes. Respiratory protective equipment shall be available to all persons who are exposed to situation where atmosphere can be susceptible to be either deficient in oxygen or containing some harmful substance, whether particle, dust, mist, vapor or gas, including work in containers or vessels where a danger of oxygen deficiency or harmful gases may be present. Work in shafts, sewers or enclosed septic tanks, great or oppressive blast operations, blasting operations, underwater, diving, construction or repairs. Personnel must receive adequate protection. Personnel must receive adequate training prior to using respiratory protection. Hearing protection. Hearing. I'm going slowly because of this equipment, which must be clear to you. It doesn't matter if you take some time, slowly go slowly in this. Hearing protection shall be made available to all workers exposed to noise levels of 80 decibels. A 80 decibels or above for long periods of shift. Protective devices shall be in conformance with BS 6344 industrial hearing protectors or equivalent. This old BS. It could be EU now, I'm not sure. On all works environments where noise level is at or above 85 dB, a I think the UPSC is whatever is it here is dB. Yeah. Uh, Prominent signs in English on all works environment where noise level is above at or about 85 dBA. Prominent signs in English, Arabic, and Urdu shall be this. Okay. Protective devices shall be in conformance with the told you that one. So on all works, protective devices shall be in conformance with BES industrial hearing protectors or equivalent on all works environments where the noise level is at about 85 dB. Prominent sign in English, Arabic, and Urdu shall be displayed indicating need for ear protection. I have used the language Arabic. It can be different languages as well because it was done in Arab, so it was written in Arabic. So be careful about that. It can be Hindi also. It can be Punjabi also. It depends in which area we are working. So don't stick to this. Just because it is worked. If I work there and I got that statement here, so I am just taking that. Visual sign in form of a line drawing of ear muffs shall also be displayed. In general, hearing protection that is required to be worn frequently shall be issued on a personal basis. In addition to personal issues, it is recommended to use to leave suitable hearing protection at entrance into high loose noise areas. Hand and arm protection. Hand and arm protection. Adequate hand and arm protection shall be available for all manual labor. Type of protection worn shall be selected according to hazard to be protected against. These include but not limited to impacts, impacts, cuts, abrasions, and infections, extreme temperatures, chemical, toxic, corrosive, and other hazardous substances. Okay. Hearing and arm protection. Adequate hand and arm protection shall be available for all manual labor. Type of protection worn shall be selected according to hazard to be protected against. These include but are not limited to impacts, cuts, abrasions and infections, extreme temperature, chemical, toxic, corrosive and other hazardous substances. Hand and arm protection shall conform where applicable, meeting a recognized national or international standards such as BS 1651 specifications for industrial gloves, BS 697 specification for rubber gloves for electrical works. Hand and arm protective devices shall be regularly inspected and replaced when physically damaged or contaminated by substances such as greases, greases, paints, drilling fluids, or chemicals, while which might impair their effectiveness or safety. Body protection. I'm being very slow because I'm reading something and explaining to you. I'm not using my mind 100% in this case because already written material is available. So I'm going through that, and it's my understanding of English. That language could be a little different. That's why I feel a little bit sometimes thinking on that. Body protections, adequate body protections, spatial suits, aprons, leggings, etc. shall be provided for whatever work which involves hazards such as described above. Specific and adequate body protection shall be supplied. Sorry, specific and adequate body protection shall be supplied for all work activities which present these hazards, including but not limited to working during extreme temperatures such as firefighting, heating furnace, heating furnace attendants, working in refrigeration plants, etc., welding, burning, cutting and grinding, handling or mixing of acids and other toxic, corrosive or hazardous chemicals. Mm. So once again I can say this: specific and adequate body protection shall be supplied for all work activities which present these hazards, including but not limited to working during extremes temperatures such as firefighting, heating furnace maintenance, uh, working in refrigeration plants, welding, burning, cutting, and grinding, handling or mixing of acids and other toxics, corrosive or hazardous chemicals, cleanup and disposal of hazardous waste. Uh, Cleanup and disposal of hazardous waste, asbestos, chemicals, hydrocarbons, handling or mixing of acids and other toxic, corrosive or hazardous chemicals, welding, burning, cuttings and ironing, handling or mixing of acids and other toxic. So, then both the body protective devices shall be manufactured to a revised standard, revised national and international standard with specification for flame, retardant, industrial clothing BS 157, 5547, specification for protective clothing for welders, which is 2653 BS, and specification for protective uniform for wet uh, mm, safety harness and life lines. Safety harness and lifelines. Safety harness and lifelines shall be provided, worn, and properly secured in all work situations where some of following dangers exist: falling from a height greater than 2 meters, succumbing to toxic atmospheres or oxygen deficiency. Such situations include but are not limited to working on scaffolding, working in enclosed spaces such as vessels in live or commissioned plants, work on certain high structures, whether in construction or maintenance, including petroleum processing plants, drilling rigs, storage tanks, etc. Work over water, rescue work in firefighting from high strength structure to low percentage. Mm. Then can say this is what I said is about the PPE, and this PPE is very important topic for everybody because Without this, one is not permitted to enter working site at whatever level it is. It may be at ground level, it may be in basement, it may be at higher floors, it may be in scaffolding, it may be in, you can say, workshop, it may be in factory, wherever it is. Care of PP is very essential. Means restrictions are there everywhere. Whenever you enter some process area of a site, you will be banned to enter if you don't have safety glasses with you, gate pass with you, until when you're sitting there for you to take your position. Position is not important here. Important is what I am getting and what I have done. I see when shall both. Very important. We have to act like a civilian. If we don't have any basis, and then if you thought when you apply these objectives on the public, then therefore say, I don't shout, it's just a fact. It is construction work, it is industrial work, it is work to be safe. If you just make accidents involve accidents, work not have value at all. Life is lost, fatality takes place, and that is not good. Profession means you have to be safe every day in all activities. That is very important. After this, we go further and see that which is excavation safety, for example. Let us consider that point of plus excavation safety. It is very, very significant. We'll discuss it later on also. We'll just say what is excavation safety in this case. Scope, purpose, definition, responsibilities, instructions, references, additions are same. Scope says a procedure applies to all excavations and trenches. Excavations can be shallow or can be deep. It can be minor, it can be major, it can be mass area or related footings, infrastructural services or whatever. And purpose is provides guidelines for protecting personnel and workers performing either excavation work or working either adjacent to excavation or range from accidents by excavation in carrying in or falling into trench. Not necessarily that statutory back, statutory rock, statutory rock, and and procedure applies to all excavations and trenches. Excavations can be shallow or deep or major or minor, mass area or for related footings for infrastructural services sector. Procedure provides guidelines for protecting personnel and workers performing like excavation work or working in or adjacent to an excavation or trench from accidents by caving in or falling into trenches. Not necessarily that instead of rock, it shall be difficult to excavate in sandy soil and also in clay, soft, etc. Not necessarily that instead of rock, it's difficult to excavate in sandy soil, also in clay, soft, strata. It has been experienced that it has been experienced that line staff always reacts confident to perform excavation using equipment or otherwise, but seldom care about consequences of collapses, adjacent to excavation, or about water mobility from beneath. Is therefore required adjacent excavation around water mobility from beneath It's therefore required to understand various pertinent effects. There are definitions regarding certain terms. I told you safety means safety, health, and environment, disciplines to support project activities. Company means an organization carrying out or prosecuting project. Contractor means organization that has one project from client, and similarly subcontractor classes client person, and always even aware or social of this. It's not just one and the other one class. Yeah. In UK, not UK, even say this schools will see definitions of it. So let's say we take up this detailed talk later because excavation safety is very significant. This happens in open areas where deep excavation is conducted for months. It's there, piling is done, deep excavation is done, dewatering is done because many areas contain water. Then disposal of that dewatering is done. Water comes out by piling also. That is also controlled. And such actions, such activities leave area very dirty, very awkward, and we have to take, we have to, for example, consider that disposal very urgent. If soil is clay, soil is sandy, soil rock, all require different type of work. Then we have to take out also real bearing capacity, safe bearing capacity, working bearing capacity from that area using another thing, and this will take time. Then various areas are surveyed, various states are subject, no nation at all. Here, what I'm saying is that this topic of safety is very, very complex from industrial viewpoint. People die, accidents take place. We have to be very serious because every life is important. People's life cannot be taken for granted. It may take some few minutes or few seconds for a person standing at higher level, and with little negligence one falls, and we cannot protect that because if we keep off safety, certainly you will also fall if you are supervising them. Therefore, safety is not a joke, it's not a decoration, it is a requirement, mandatory requirement. Safety in non-compliance can even stop your work, can stop your activity, and you cannot complain. Safety non-compliance can stop your entry site, can stop entry site for everybody who doesn't comply, doesn't abide by safety means safety measures. Ordinary safety measures, specific safety measures, what safety measures and whatever required there. Money is spent on equipment, money is spent on inspectors, money is spent on engineers related to safety, on method statements. Every must be there should be method statement for everything, for every safety activity, and it must be merged with real method statement. As construction is required, it should be part of construction method statement. It should be part of ordinary method statement. It should be part of demonstration. It should be part of talk, lecture, whatever. And there should be, you can say, provisions where those people who maintain safety, there must be incentive in this form or that form, whatever form. If we cannot do that, we cannot create a kind of computer where people take, oh, I'll take safety of myself, I'll take safety of others. until that can say development reaches safety. It's not guaranteed, cannot be guaranteed. Safety is not just safety, I tell you. Safety means safety. Safety in this field, safety in that field. Safety leads to safety and say business management, it takes to some other point, it takes to procurement, it takes to production. We have to make sure that whatever equipment we buy, whatever precautionary measure we take for external works, for internal works, for public works, we have to be very careful about that. A little mistake can lead to accident. For example, there is a ladder, one rod of ladder or one step of ladder is broken, person can fall. If one pipe of scaffolding is out, scaffolding can collapse. If some support from a slab which may be taken out or somebody can play with that, there can be a balance out of a slab which can result in accident. So safety is not single-handedly, it is activity of everybody, and it is generally said that safety compliance is very important. It is a responsibility of one and all. It's not responsibility of one. Everybody who is on site, on project is responsible for safety. It doesn't matter you are related to that or you are related to safety. It depends upon where you are, how you are sitting on a chair when you are working at the computer, or how you are taking rest. Everything is related to mechanism of organic, you can say ergonomics. Ergonomics, which is a science, which is a technique, which is a management, which can distribute your energy to your requirement. You cannot simply get sit. It's not that you open that to find that you can find what level you sit, which level your eyes should be, how you sit, how you work, where you look at, what angle you should maintain. These are all techniques that reduces your stresses and strain on your body. Energy spending, energy management is also very responsible from safety, health, and environment viewpoint because ultimately your energy is important that you're spending on your work. It's not something else. You may be feel drowsy if you are not safely working. You may collapse, you may feel strain, you may feel pain in your knees, you may feel pain in your neck, you may feel something. While even driving, you have to take care of safety. Rash driving or this driving or taking over this and that, not necessary. You have to see that your car, your vehicle should run at rated speed so that it should consume minimum fuel and it should give you comfort as well as safety for others. It's not simply steering control or brake control, it's total control. You must learn that. Don't feel if you're driving fast speed, you're a good driver, or if you're saying low speed, you are a mature driver, or you can say coward driver. It depends upon how you are driving. A constant speed is much better than a rated high speed or rated low speed. Same way it is that you are driving or you are working or you are eating or wherever you are walking on or you are raising, you are ascending a stair and you fall different heights of rises can create a lot of accidents. For example, three steps are 150 millimeter, then four steps are 152 millimeters, and then once 153, it can lead to accident. Your body shall not accept that because once you ascend, you have it many times you ascend and descend, you will know what steps are there. By chance, suppose there's a difference in walking, you may feel that this is going against your, you may fall sometime or you may get shot back. Well, so we are walking in roads and it happens in many areas that you walk and on footpath or on some carriageway, there is some level difference in there, and you just there's a protrusion on that part, and you strike that your knees, your leg strikes that, and you feel disturbed and unstable. Your body is at that moment, and that can even lead to collapse. You can fall there. It's unknown. Similarly, you see there's a speed breaker on road, and there's no white color on that, so the color, no indication of that. And you just your vehicle strikes there, and it results in shock. and that is very dangerous. Even sometimes you don't feel somebody just blowing horn when there's no requirement, just blowing and disturbs others, and that's the impact on other one. Suppose somebody is a patient of heart attack, or somebody has a feeling not to digest voice, high voice, it impacts that person, and that is where we have to take care of. It's why to blow horn when not required? Why to rash up when not required? All these are safety concerns. It's not simply only work. Wherever it should be, it should be. We have to see that. Well, we'll take up this issue of excavation and further issues as I could not take today because of this excavation will take PP. I have taken excavation. I just wanted to take, but it is a very, very complicated excavation issue. So I'll explain with explanations will take up, and then it will be another one that is control storage, etc. So we'll take the next talk with explanations, and we'll procure in more topics for this. So say I'll close it now because it's too much and it's not more than 2 hours, and also the place the next one. I'm thinking to convert this also into regional language of Hindi or some other. This is only in simple English for all because translation is not that easy. It's a technical subject. And everything I don't understand into other language, but roughly I would like to convey to those people who cannot understand English, for those workers, foremen, laborers who are more concerned. I'm much concerned about those people because those people do not value this. They are so confident sometimes that they don't care about safety, they don't care about hard hats, they don't care about shoes, and they face accidents. Even after instructing someone, they don't care. And I have seen this personally. You go on, shout on them, they will use, and after some time they take it off because they feel some problem. I understand that, but feeling problem is not expensive. Loss of life is expensive. That is very expensive, and it's difficult. Once something happens, means responsibility comes onto you, particularly in responsible areas. Police action is there, insurance action is there, other actions are there. Who will liable to that? Responsible person will liable to that. Means how to control people around the clock or when one is going is difficult. For instance, you can consider, but it's not a particular hot temperatures, hot areas. It's very difficult to control. In cold areas, no problem. And nobody shall remove helmet. But in hot, they do it. They, well, we have to see that. Yes. And I could not get some person who understands Arabic or can translate this to Arabic. I'll find someone if there's one of my friends who can at least speak rough language of Arabic also if he could take this to translation to Arab if possible because our people are working in Arab as well. Our people are not that much working in English areas. People are working in Hindi areas, in Arab areas. So everything is not possible. What's, whatever is possible can be done. That's what I'm saying. I'll take it next one later on. And thank you very much. I close it now. Bye.